Hello students and families. This video today is going to be a short one, and it'll talk about how to go back and forth from an improper fraction to a mixed number and from a mixed number to an improper fraction. So the first thing to remember, guys, is that a fraction is simply part of a whole. We don't have a whole thing. We have part of a whole, okay? And to remember then what an improper fraction is, improper means wrong, incorrect, not right. So an improper fraction is whenever we have a numerator on the top that is bigger than our denominator on the bottom, okay? And so that is improper. It's not correct. So one of the things that we've learned how to do here, there's kind of two quick ways to go through this, is how to get these into a mixed number. And just to remember, a mixed number has a whole number next to a fraction. So we want to go from an improper fraction to a mixed number. So there are two quick ways to do this. One of them would be more so in your head, would be using some multiplication quick skills. The second way is to do some division. And so for an improper fraction like we see here, 19 over 7, this one is pretty quick and simple to do as an in your head method. I shouldn't have to set up a division bracket for this. I could, and I'll just show it here too as well after I do the in your head version, just to verify our answer. So one of the quick steps that you're going to do to create an improper fraction into a mixed number is you're going to focus on your denominator here. So in this case, it's a 7. And your idea is I want to take out as many groups of 7 as I can from 19. So one of the things that you can do is you can list down some of your multiples until you realize, hey, I passed my numerator here. Or you can use a multiplication table to just scan up and down your chart, or you could skip count in your head by whatever your denominator is. So in this situation here, I'm going to skip count by 7s, and I'm going to realize, okay, 7, 14, and 21. 21 is too much. I can't use 21 because I only have 19. So here's how I build my mixed number. Remember, we have a whole number and a fraction, okay? So first thing here with this mixed number fraction, we always need to remember in this kind of situation that my denominator does not change. The only reason it would change is in the end, once I have my mixed number, if I am trying to reduce or simplify that fraction. So right off the bat, I always move that 7 or whatever the denominator is back into the denominator box. Second thing here is if I look over at my list of my 7s, I'm going to realize, okay, this was as close as I could get without going over. And that is 7 times 1, 7 times 2. That 2 that I just counted out is going to be my whole number. And then what I'm going to do to fill in my numerator is I'm going to take the number that I skip counted to, so in this case 14, I'm going to subtract that from my original numerator to see how many I would have left. So 19 minus 14 is 5. So therefore, my improper fraction of 19 sevenths as a mixed number would equal 2 and 5 sevenths. Okay? So that's kind of an in-your-head version. Again, at the point of 5th grade, you know, we should be knowing our multiples and how to quickly skip count from whatever our denominators are to try to hit that numerator. And then there's a quick little subtraction problem that you'd have to do, like 19 minus 14 in that situation. Okay, now sometimes you're going to be faced with an improper fraction that might not be as easy or, you know, quick to try to solve out in your head. So I'll switch it up here from 7. I'll go 86 over 6. So 86 sixths as an improper fraction. So one might not want to do skip counting of 6s. I could look on my multiplication table and see how close I could get. Most multiplication tables go up to 12. So I would not be able to hit 86 on that multiplication table. So you could set up a division problem. One thing to remember with fractions and division, they work together. So 86 over 6 is the same thing as thinking to yourself, 86 divided by 6. So I can set that problem up. 86 divided by 6. All right? So we solve it like a regular long division problem. 6 goes into 8 one time. 6 times 1 is 6. 8 minus 6 is 2. Bring down my next digit. 6 goes into 26 4 times. 6 times 4 is 24. And I have a remainder of 2. So the answer to our mixed number is all within this problem now. my whole number is going to be my quotient, which is the answer of my division problem. My new numerator is going to be the remainder of the division problem. And just like before, we mentioned our denominators do not change, so it stays a 6. So 14 and 2/6 is the same as 86 over 6. Now, we may be asked to reduce, simplify, or put in lowest terms. In that kind of situation, we leave our whole number alone, and we only draw our attention to that fraction. So I ask myself, can I reduce the fraction on hand here? 2/6 can be reduced. One of the tips we talk about in class is taking a look first and understanding if both of my numbers in that fraction are even, divide it by 2, and just go until you can't divide it by 2 anymore, or until you think maybe I could divide it by 3 or another number. But cutting by 2 is always an easy step. So in this situation here, I'm going to keep my 14. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So this would be the simplified, reduced version. So that is how to make improper fractions into mixed numbers. So now we'll go on the other hand here. We'll go backwards. We'll go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. So when we draw out a mixed number here, it's a very simple step. It's a repetitive process. So if I just make up any mixed number here, the strategy involves a very simple multiplication and an addition problem, and then remembering that I have to make it into, I have to keep my denominator the same. So in this case, it's going to be an 8. So one of the things I always do before I even start doing my work is I go right ahead and I put my new denominator down. I got to keep that thing the same. All right? So where we start is we start on our whole number here. In this case, it's a 4. And I multiply by the denominator, the bottom number. So 4 times 8 is 32. Sometimes it might help to put that number there. And then the adding part comes in. I take this number and I add it to my numerator. 32 plus 5 is 37. And there I go. There is my improper fraction for the mixed number of 4 and 5/8. I'll do one more example here, and then we'll wrap this video up. If I do something like 6 and 7/12, I'll kind of make this a little bit of a higher problem here. Again, my first step is I go put my denominator down. I keep it there, therefore I do not make that mistake. Okay, so my first step here is to do 6 times 12. You can count out your 12s, you can count out your 6s, you can use a multiplication table. In this case, I like to do my 12s, 12, 24, 36, 48, 60, 72. I always like to write that number down here so I don't forget it. And then I'm going to take that 72 and I'm going to add it to 7. 72 plus 7 is 79. And there is my improper fraction. Okay, there's going to be many situations where going back and forth from both of these is important to know. We work on adding, subtracting mixed numbers, multiply, dividing them. This skill will come in handy. And again, it's just a very quick trick to remember how to do. So if any case we have any homework that these steps are involved, I encourage you to hop back to this video and try to recall those steps.